So what was Craftsman up to? Don't know. And who made this one? Let's see what we got on here. And as for Vaughan, a guy swore up and down Vaughan was the only maker of Craftsman. Now that does not make sense if you're a major retailer. You would not put all your eggs in one basket. You would have other people contributing. And sometimes a manufacturer would have a contract. Say Vaughan has the Craftsman contract. Plum, I have read in one place, and that's the only documentation I have, is a single reference to it, is that Plum stepped up and helped make some Craftsman. Plum did not put their maker's mark on here. Remember, you have to have permission from Sears to put your mark on their logo. That's theirs. It does not benefit Sears if you can readily identify this as a Vaughan. If you can readily identify this as a Vaughan, it doesn't help Vaughan. Vaughan has premium AXES. They sell at a higher price point in lower volume. When they have a massive contract like they had with Sears to make the Craftsman AXES and be part of that, remember the way that Craftsman originally started on their tool lines was that they had a design team, but they didn't have manufacturing facilities. So the design team would come up with what they want to be a high-quality tool, distinguishing themselves from other homeowner-grade tools or professional tools, beginning right with the car industry. They were jumping ahead on there. When you read the Craftsman history, I don't know if Tom in Yesteryear's Tools makes reference to it, and it probably does, but numbers of sources say Craftsman was after. They were trying to jump ahead and give homeowners tools they could be proud of as they worked on their cars, because the automobile industry was new. And it spread out from there. The Craftsman line became the sign of high quality, low price point, affordable price point. A little bit higher than, say, like Fulton. Or what was the other one that they had? It was making for them. I'll think of it later. But that was the whole point behind them. And then they would hook up with the manufacturer and say, can you make what we're doing here? Can you do that? Show us what you can do. And Vaughan had that contract. Now, some people will say Mann Edge. I'll have to get my glasses on to see if that's an M and an E. Some people swear up and down that that means it's Mann Edge. Does it? I can't find any reference to it. Tom in Yesteryear's Tools did say Vaughan made Craftsman AXES. But why would they make, or I'm not Vaughan, a Mann Edge Tool Company, Metco, that usually just puts an M on theirs. They can't put the M on here because Vaughan took it. I have a Craftsman downstairs. Maybe I'll get them out. I have a Craftsman downstairs where there's nothing on both sides. Just on this side, it'll have where it says trademark. There'll be an M. That's definitely a Vaughan. The unmarked ones cannot be sure if they're Plum or Vaughan. If Vaughan was marking theirs, why did they make some that they didn't mark? And Plum didn't want the mark because then that degrades their own brand, and it doesn't do anything for Sears, and Sears probably appreciated that they wouldn't do that. But they would step up in time, say there's a surge in production, Plum would make some of those, and I don't know if the arrangement was with Vaughan, help us out, or if it was with Sears. Probably it was a collaboration. So Plum, Mann Edge, Vaughan. Who else would have been making Craftsman AXES? Well, I've got one that's got an F on both sides. Well, that would be Fall City, wouldn't it? Fall City was making some of their other tools. Did they make any AXES for them? Because the manufacturer who makes the AXES, they wouldn't have been making, wrenches, hand wrenches, and socket sets and stuff like that. That would be a different company. And I believe Fall City was making those tools. I don't think they made any impact tools. No axes or anything like that, or sledgehammers. Where Vaughan would do hammers, it would do hatchets, the construction grade hatchets, like half hatchets, broad hatchets, and axes. So that's kind of a mystery. I've never been able to chase it down. There's got to be some written evidence somewhere that we can check it out. I won't go on somebody's word for it who just considers themselves to know a lot about axes. I certainly wouldn't do it. And I'm never going to tell you only Vaughan made them, because I know they didn't. I know there's other people making Craftsman AXES. Now, when they make the Craftsman AXES, we know that some people were making the logo on the hand tools. They were making them different from each other. Like how they put the C, where they were, the barn on its side C, the big C, whether it was a little C, whether they continued to line under it or not. Don't know. Different manufacturers were making little changes in how they did it, and that's how you identify them. But on the AXES, I don't know. I just don't. And maybe somebody in the comments will put down what they were doing. But you can't just go by the charts. You can't just take people's word for it. I want to see some evidence who was making these. Where a council tool, no doubt. That's always definitely a council tool. Whether you see Echo written on the side, or what was the other company I saw making? And I said that's a council tool, because you can identify the head right away. They're putting USA. They put the last 2 digits of the year. They have their quarter marks. So like this one says 23. It's 1923, or 2023, USA, and all 4 marks are on there. So that means first quarter of 2023 that was made. So sometimes between January and March. In March that will come off, and then there will be 3 left for the second quarter, and so on until there's just 1 left. That means fourth quarter of 2023. And why would you want to know that? Why would you want your mark on the axe anyway? Well, I can imagine Vaughan wants it on there. If there's other people making these axes, and somebody comes back and say, my axe cracked, it's bad material, it's a defect, Vaughan will say, I've got my stamp on it. My maker's mark's not on there, so it's not me. That's somebody else. So they might identify it for quality control. I don't know, but that makes sense.